Welcome back to Sci-Fi Book Trek. Today we'll be doing spoiler talk for the Doctor Who novel 10 Little Aliens by Stephen Cole.
In the future, a set of trainees of Earth's anti-terror task force are being sent to a training mission at a distant planetoid for a mock battle against a set of killdroids.
Come on, you apes! You wanna live forever!
Then, the Doctor shows up with his companions, just happening to be dropped into the situation by TARDIS shenanigans.
You know, you have never been very reliable.
And you have?
You didn't always take me where I wanted to go.
No, but I always took you where you needed to go.
And they begin exploring the planetoid when the troopers turn up and are surprised by the presence of the trio. The group are called to the discovery of 10 corpses on a raised dais, which appear to all be dead.
Everybody's dead.
Shut it!
The group split up to explore the complex.
I suggest we handle this in proper military fashion. We split up and search the house.
Split up!
And slowly are being picked off as each soldier is being hunted down by creatures that are hiding in the darkness.
And they mostly come at night. Mostly.
And as each soldier disappears, one of the alien corpses on the dais disappears.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
As we progress, we discover that several of the soldiers that remain are slowly being turned into their alien nemesis, the Shia.
Oh yeah, fuck. Fucking shear my ass, bitch.
At least one of those soldiers is being converted in front of their eyes, and her injuries are being magically healed through the power of some sort of genetic anomaly. The remaining soldiers and the TARDIS crew decide the best way forward is to set up a neural net between them as a means through looking from each other's perspectives to stop them from being jumped. As we progress through that, the aliens are revived and they discover the fiendish plan that they will take over the bodies of the crew.
And once they've completed the ritual to take over the crew, they will help the Morpheans, well, a faction within the Morpheans, another energy alien, to take over their quadrant of space and then help the Shia to fight and kill the humans.
All right, I'm low on bullets. Everybody scooch together.
So for the ritual to be completed, a specific number of beings needs to be present, which has resulted in some of the crew being picked off because they're far too many.
Thanks to the Doctor's arrival. Jocasta, the leader of the Shia, decides to commence the ritual and eats Haunt, the leader of the task force, like a curly whirly.
And then the Doctor manages to circumvent the plans by bringing the previously unknown cyborg character into the mix. And as the AI appears to have a soul,
I lack soul.
it completely buggers up the ritual, completely derailing the aliens' plans and allowing the Morphean authorities to eliminate the cast of
the
terrorist
rebel cast,
group.
Of the Morpheans, who are disguised as big cherubs at that time, for reasons. And this, of course, messes the ritual up, which causes the Shia to break their initial ritual they did at the start, which involves killing themselves. So they end up dying of the wounds they killed themselves with before the story starts. Hope that made sense.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
However, with the threat to Earth ended, the remaining soldiers take the wayward complex back towards home, and the Doctor, Ben and Polly then do a flyaway in the TARDIS.
With the Doctor just reminding the military people, you know what? Try and give peace a chance. And then they leave. And now on to loves and hates.
So, what did you love? Love probably being a strong word in this instance.
I liked how some of the actual characters got to do stuff. I mean, the companions. I liked how they got to do most of the stuff. It was mostly focused almost around them, because you've got Polly finding out more about the troops and like their morale and getting connected with one of them, and you've got Ben going around with a little gun going, yes, I'm one of the boys. I did like that. I did like the story. There's like little nods to the Agatha Christie story, and then there were not. Like the fact, the Shia are sort of statues at the start, and they start disappearing one by one.
Yes.
When like they're dying, and you think, right, that's nice, that's interesting, and then like it turns into something more, and it's like, that's a reveal. So I did like that aspect of it, and also, I mean, you could say the aspect near the end where it's a dead character comes back. I don't think it was done that successfully, and it did feel like Doctor, you should really be standing up if you're going to pull something like this out your ass.
Yes.
I tell you what, I'll end my loves there. What do you love about it?
I'm like you. I like the characterization of Polly and Ben. Personally, I find Doctor Who fiction a lot more interesting when the Doctor is sort of that nebulous, unknown quality.
Yeah.
And you find out things through his companions and through the interaction with his companions, which is why it bothered me that up until I think it was like the last but one chapter, they completely avoided the idea of doing anything from the Doctor's perspective. And so, I mean, even when they come to the neural net part and they try to touch the Doctor's mind and it's like touching an open flame, I like that element.
I have seen things you wouldn't believe. I have lost things you will never understand. Knowledge that will make Parasite God's place. So come on, then! Take it! Take it all, baby!
But then you get to that chapter where it starts saying, oh yes, and the Doctor was thinking this, and the Doctor was thinking this, and I was like, no, that's one of the mystiques that I like about the Doctor, don't ruin that. But that's me personally. That's a frustration that I personally have, because I think, honestly, the less you know about the Doctor, the better. And as time goes on, it's better that you sort of tease little bits of information.
Keep the mystery alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the opening chapter, and the thing is, it felt like it was from a completely different book entirely. The opening chapter where you're introduced to the mercs. Well, they're not even the mercs, are they?
The military guys, yeah.
Yeah, the soldiers. That felt like it was coming out of a completely different book. That felt like you were being introduced to this situation of the Starship Troopers-esque element of it. And the characterization of the different soldiers, I mean, a lot of them do fall into the background. I'm not going to dispute that.
Yeah.
However, that little informatics section where you've got like a description of each of the characters, and it's almost like you can almost see it being done in that Starship Troopers style, like the "Would you like to know more?" And you're getting like it's
Yeah.
it's almost like NFL player stats, or
It's a nice little thing to reference back to, when, especially when you're halfway in or like near the end of the story and you're like, oh, this soldier does this. And it's like, who? And you go back to the start and it's like, oh, gives a quick poke. And it's like, oh, right, it's this guy. Right, okay.
now the other thing that I did with that reference to, okay, I'll go back in the story to find that guy. It's when you get to that section in the story where it's the choose your own adventure.
Yes,
bits.
choose your own that part, yeah.
I was like, yes. It's like, you've now completed this perspective. So, if you've already done this, then go to this section and then come back to this. And I'm like, oh God, not again. I've done this in choose your own adventure books, sticking my thumb in the pages, then reading ahead, going, right, okay, now I've got to go back to where I was. Cool, I'm glad I kept that in place, because otherwise I wouldn't know anything about where I'm going.
Mm.
And I mean, it's very gimmicky. It is very gimmicky
Yes. It was well done for what it was. I'm glad it came near the end, because if it came near the start, I probably would have checked out.
Mm.
As it being like near the end, it was like, well, I've only got like, another few chapters, so it's like, I'll bear with it.
Yeah. Now, what did you hate?
The Doctor wasn't really in it. He felt like he would only do stuff if he was prompted to by other people. And then, there would be the occasional just like monologue from him, which it just descended into sort of nothing. And it just felt like, oh, it's there because it's the Hartnell Doctor. He has to stand there and monologue.
Pontificate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it felt like that's the only reason it's there. And also to give the Doctor something to do, because he's got nothing else to do.
Mm.
The leader decides to start the ritual at a random point when they're split up.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you've worked out the Doctor's just, bullshitting. Grab him, take him back. You incapacitate all the humans, and then you start the ritual. I'm okay with the sort of guy coming back from the dead.
I like the implication of that.
Oh
Honestly.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it has some interesting implications, and like he's a sort of nod to the Christie story, which I've mentioned. So I'm fairly happy with that part, although it can come across a bit Deus Ex Machina. Like boom, suddenly okay, sure.
For me, I was more bothered about the fact that suddenly Marshall Hornt becomes the bad guy.
Yes.
I don't think that was set up particularly well.
No. Even when you hear like the reasons and stuff, it's like, still don't follow this.
Yeah. I mean, I know the neural net idea is where you get her backstory and a lot of the sort of the information as to why, why she might be doing this.
I mean, why she's reminiscing about it then, I don't know.
The only thing that I can think of is that she's actually in that position where it's like the culmination of the plans, but you would think that would be more, she would be a hell of a lot more guarded.
Yeah, or then she would be thinking about the plan and stuff, not like...
Or if anything, I was just thinking about, I think the Doctor basically thinks about a penny farthing.
Yeah. I mean, I think she would be probably more thinking about soon the plan's complete and we can start killing them all.
Mm.
I think that's what she'd be thinking more than anything else. Because her plan is to sort of... Once she's betrayed humans, she's actually betraying the Morpheans. So she's playing like a longer con.
Yeah.
Which, when you think about it, is stupid. How she's going about it, but it's just like...
but like you say, I mean, she's no master master strategist at this point, and she starts off quite intelligent, but then by the time you get to the reveal, she kind of drops 100 IQ points.
Well, I mean, that's another thing. It seems like the ritual is like, oh, we're going to take over your bodies. And it's like, oh no, what we're going to do is just eat you.
Yeah. That made no sense to me.
It's like, well, are you cannibals then? Because, like, you're changing these people.
Specifically to provide a decent host.
Yeah. But if you're just going to eat them, is that you just trying to... You only eat your own kind? I don't understand. Or is it just the leader is going to eat Holt? That's why she doesn't change much. And the other ones are going to take over the newer bodies. It's not...
We're kind of getting into nitpicking territory now.
Yeah.
But...
Well, that's... you could argue it's not a nitpick, it just wasn't properly explained.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing.
Sorry, just to take us back to a hate category. What's it? The story with Shade goes nowhere.
Yes.
It seems utterly pointless.
There seems a lot of setup, especially at the start as well. A lot of setup, a lot of build-up to like, oh my god, this is going to be a payoff. Nothing happens.
Yeah. I kept expecting him to actually play into the later story at some point. I was almost expecting it to be a case of...
He falls into the background.
Yeah.
Like, he becomes one of the, like, nothing soldiers. If he didn't have the background build-up...
Yeah.
He'd just be one of the, like, people we couldn't really name.
Yes, exactly. He felt like he was going to be a character that you were going to have that connection to the fascist group, but this is the one into that group where it's like, maybe this guy is not necessarily a believer in the cause.
Or he would have some, like, secret to reveal.
Yeah. And it turns out the best secret he's got to reveal is that he's possibly Elon Musk's great-great-grandson.
I think it might have worked out better if he was subtracted rather than Holt. I mean, like, he would have at least
explained
some of the, like, build-up of his character and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he was just a red herring. But anyway, we'll go on to...
nitpicking,
I think.
One of the major nitpicks that stood out to me was regards to the navigation crystals. Why keep them? If it's literally a case of they set the autopilot, they've set the autopilot, the only way to, divert them from this course is to get those crystals back. Why on earth keep hold of them?
I mean, you would think they would need them for when they've took over the, like, Morphean space. They then need to go back to, like, the Shia area.
I suppose. It's just whether they were intending to pilot this planetoid around, like, as a ship, or whether just to transfer to... Because, I mean, they brought a ship with them. It's a...
The humans did, yes.
Yeah, the human dropship.
That is hinted they might have been destroyed when the planetoid takes off.
Okay, that's fair, but even so... I know hiding it in plain sight, but there's hiding it in plain sight when it's a mural on a blank wall.
Well, like, it feels like, the Men in Black, where he's doing the training, Will Smith's doing the training thing, and he shoots the little girl.
Yes.
And it's like, why did you shoot her?
Because she completely stands out among all of this. And it turns out that in actual fact... Yeah,
she's the weirdest thing.
They didn't... It's like, they really didn't
put that
across
window.
Properly.
That feels like the weirdest thing. In fact, there's no other ones anywhere. Yeah. Right. This is near the start. Holly's separated because she disappears for reasons. Like, I'm willing to slightly overlook it, but Yeah, but you could go into nitpick there, but she decides to build little stones.
The stone pyramid outside
Yeah.
one of the tunnels, yeah.
So she doesn't get lost, which is reasonable. But she does say then she chips 2 nails.
Mm.
She's wearing a spacesuit. How does she know? Like, surely the gloves are sort of toughened if it's a spacesuit.
Yeah.
And can she see through the spacesuit? As she took the gloves, because it's not mentioned. She takes the helmet off, which is mentioned, but not the gloves.
I don't think it's ever mentioned whether they do take the suits off.
But because she also mentions, I think then she's got no pockets. But later on, she takes the comms unit from Shadow.
Yeah.
Or is it Shade?
Shade.
Yeah, Shade. And puts it in a pocket. It's like, you told me there was no pockets?
This is...
It's like also, no pockets on a spacesuit. That doesn't sound a spacesuit. Like, not a great one.
Not a particularly practical one.
Yeah. So that just struck me as odd. Like, are there pockets or aren't there?
The other nitpick that I had was, I think you've already mentioned it with regards to DeCaster basically eating Horned. The whole genetic manipulation element, like when they were being healed, essentially. But then, and there's 2 lines to this issue. DeCaster eats Horned, so doesn't take over the body. He's not, they've been making this body ready for their purposes.
But Horned hasn't changed much.
Yeah, other than losing the tumour. But yeah, she hasn't started developing any sort of weird skin or any sort of outward appearances of being transformed. So that's one. But also, DeCaster eats her. So presumably not taking on that body, but using the raw material to, I don't know, power his own body. The fact that they apparently are able to use the raw materials of bodies in their engines, which was a weird sort of body horror element that I kind of felt like it went, that went straight into weird.
Yeah.
So there was that. The other thing was that people with major injuries, I was trying to work out what the sort of the framework for this was, because again, with Horned, it was like the body was being taken from essentially a chronic condition through to perfect human, then to sheer, essentially, because presumably they wanted the best genetic human, or the human in the best condition before they then transferred it. But that doesn't make any sense with Frog, because she doesn't go from like mangled human to sheer. She kind of transitions straight the way through. As the timeline of people that had issues, I was expecting them to go from they have chronic issues to being healed humans to being sheer.
Yeah.
And then by that token as well, you would expect the humans that didn't have any sort of chronic issues or injuries to have transitioned faster, but Polly and Ben and several of the others that didn't have any injuries, they are the last ones to change. I mean, even was it Toval, the guy who had the cut in his arm, and that cut started changing earlier because it was regenerated.
Ben noticed it.
Yeah. I was just, is it a case of that it's injuries that
it does make full sense at times. No, you saying the one of soldiers gets cut?
Yeah.
Wasn't that from the machine they sent in, the robot?
I think so, yes.
Because Ben also gets cut by the robot at about the same time.
Yeah, because he's got stiffness in his knee or something that
No,
he's
it was like
complaining about.
the ankle or something, I think. Because he tried to grab to his foot.
Yeah.
But he doesn't change any faster than Polly.
Yeah. And they only start really changing when you get the
At
very,
the end, where it's
very end.
like, oh no, we need to crank up the tension.
Yeah.
Danger. The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Just as an aside, and I don't know where actually to put this because it's not really a sectional thing, it was just things that I happened to notice. Like, I was fully expecting when they started with the cherubs, I was fully expecting this to become a Weeping Angel story.
On that note, though, I think there's a reason I didn't use angels. Because Holt says, oh yeah, I helped like design their look. I said they should come as angels. It's like, they're not angels, they're cherubs.
Yes. And angels and cherubs look very, very different, especially the old biblical text.
And like, they're two different words. So it does seem odd that, she goes, oh, I told them to come as angels. They come as cherubs. It's like, who's miscommunicated there? Is it the aliens interpreting something wrong? Or is it humans of that tying, linking cherubs and angels as one? But like, it never goes into which is which. So like,
Engine room. Why does it need some sort of psychic, like, it's some sort of psychic defense that they set up? It's like the doctor's yelling, no, don't listen to it. It's not real. It's not a...
Yeah, to lure more fuel in.
Yeah, but
it does seem weird.
I kind of like, why?
Yeah.
And then again, never mentioned again. It's like, yeah, all right.
I mean, there's a few things that I just like put in, and it's just, okay, why? Never mentioned. But yeah.
I think.
I mean, other little, smaller nitpicks.
Go on.
I've got these. When Frog gets her voice back, she has an accent.
Yeah, American accent as well.
It's like, okay, why? It's just, I don't understand why she suddenly had an accent, but he was like, okay, fine, I'll allow it. The other one was, Ben, he references John Wayne, which I'm fine with, that's of the time period, but he also references Lon Chaney, and it's like, isn't that a bit before Ben's time?
Without
because he was from 66, like Ben was supposedly from, and I think he's just in his early 20s. The Lon Chaney films, I think, were 40s, and there's no such thing as like VHS or, you can't just rent a movie.
Yeah, so it would have been a requirement to go to a cinema to watch it.
I mean, maybe. I mean, if they're showing like reruns of old horror movies, yeah.
Either that or the Doctor's got a Blu-ray player in the TARDIS.
But yeah, let's go on to final thoughts. Right, final thoughts. Overall, I think it's fine as is. I've got no real complaints, like, to really throw against it. But I have no real positives to really
recommend
say.
It
yeah. It does feel, it exists. And that's pretty much all I can say about it. That's probably the most damningest.
Damning with fake praise.
Yes. That's probably, all I can say on it. And probably all anyone can say on it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same. I don't think I've had other books where I can at least say to people, oh, might be interesting. if I'm going to recommend something, it's going to be based on the idea that it's like I enjoyed it and I think someone else would enjoy it as well. Like yourself, I think it's a case of that. I would say, there we go.
Yeah,
but
like I think the only person I would ever recommend this to is someone who's interested in Doctor Who and interested in the first Doctor only, sort of thing.
Mm.
And maybe interested in, like, you know,
I think
just checking out one of the book series.
Yeah, I think it would benefit a Doctor Who fan more so than someone who's just reading science fiction for sci-fi.
But even then, like, we say the Doctor doesn't play the biggest role in it, shall we say?
Again, that's from my perspective. I still think
it depends your outlook on the Doctor, but still.
But the fact that we're having similar thoughts,
I still think he should be a bit more active, even for like Hartnell.
Mm.
But yeah,
but we're having similar thoughts based on where we fall on the recommendation scale. So
yes,
even if it is for different reasons.
Right then. So, but I think we've talked enough.
Yep.
So we'll leave you there, and well, join us next week, and we shall be reviewing.
By request.
Stephen King's The Running Man. Okay. Hope you enjoy it, and this is for our lovely viewer who keeps watching. You know who you are. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, actually, that's a big spoiler. Look, if you need to be spoiled on Agatha Christie stuff, then you're an idiot. No, look. Subscribe. Like, share. Tell a friend.